greatest fighter ever. This is a really interesting question. You know, a lot of people have been talking about who's the greatest fighter. A lot of people were saying it's Mayweather. A lot of people, you know, saying it's, you know, different boxers from different points in time. Mayweather. Muhammad Ali. There's a lot of, you know, great fighters, right? And even when we look at other, you know, like the UFC, people, you know, some people say, you know, it's Jon Jones, McGregor. There's all these great, unbelievable fighters. But who's the greatest ever? And in my mind, guys, the greatest fighter ever has got to be, at least at this current point, juncture in time, it has to be Jon Jones. Jon Jones is a bona fide machine. Never have we seen anybody quite like that guy. You know, he's away from the sport, comes back, and he's still dominant. It reminds me somewhat of like a Michael Jordan. You know, he's away from the sport, comes back to the sport, and he's still dominant. Now, we'll see how his story as it continues here, but I think that there's a lot, you know, being undefeated, there's something to be said for that, for sure. But just his story so far, the adversity that he's faced, how he's stared down the face of that adversity and ran towards it and not away from it, it's unbelievable. If we were to say who's the most entertaining fighter ever, it's probably McGregor, for sure. But when we talk about the greatest fighter ever, like, you need to be in a foxhole with one guy on the planet. Who's that guy gonna be? Oh, it's Jon Jones, for sure. I want that guy in that moment to be with me, for sure. If I got to be in a foxhole during some kind of zombie apocalypse or something, that's the guy. There's been some amazing fighters, and you know what? It's cool. Fighting has gotten to just a point, man, where it's another sport that's evolved. This is why I say we are living in the greatest era ever. Ever. In all categories, in my personal opinion. America, like just our era right now, whether we're talking from sports to finance to business to technology, everything, we're living in the greatest era ever. We are in the days that are going to create and build a path for the next generation, so that's just a little bit easier for that next generation to get to the next level. And then they're going to have to pave the path to get us from Mars to Jupiter. And then to the stars, right? And so right now, I definitely don't take for granted living in this day and age. The greatest era ever of sports, fighting, all this stuff. It's awesome. I went a little bit off topic. Sorry, kind of ranting there. But Jon Jones, guys, that's the guy. Who's your favorite fighter, and who do you think is the greatest fighter of all time? And I'll say this, guys, you know, I've always believed that Ali was the greatest boxer ever. And obviously I wasn't alive when he was, you know, at his prime. I'm able to watch, you know, seen a number of his fights. And there was just something to be said about Ali that is unlike any other fighter I've ever watched. But he has lost. And that is something that people are, you know, say that Mayweather fought all these great fighters and never lost. I mean, I feel that, you know, yes and no. Mayweather was, you know, he never lost, but sometimes I didn't think the competition that he fought was quite as staggering as that in those days of boxing with Frazier and with Ali. You know, I think that there was a certain level of toughness where those guys, we are talking about the Ryan Garcia versus Gervonta Davis fight, and how it just felt like Ryan Garcia quit. He wanted no more parts of Tank. Back then, There was nothing like that. Those guys were going to fight to the death practically. Both of them, that being like Ollie and Frazier, going to the hospital right after the game or after the fight. In that sport, boxing, it's so true when they say that it's one of the most realist sports out there in terms of you can lie, but it's going to get exposed in the ring. Anything that you are like trying to hide is going to get exposed in that ring. You versus you. A huge mental game. Mental, like, you know, and that's what I love about fighting is that it's 1v1. There's no team element to it. You have your team, sure, trainers, things of that nature, but you're by yourself. That's why I believe that tennis is one of the hardest sports in the entire world, because not only do you need precision, accuracy, you need stamina, you need to motivate yourself. All of those things are integral to becoming a great tennis player. Fighting is very similar to me. The endurance, speed, accuracy, all of those things are very, very, it's very complex. I don't think it's, you know, it's definitely, you have to have a lot of endurance. I think that tennis is, has a little bit of an upper hand just because you have to be so good at precision and accuracy with your shots. Even though you have to be that in boxing as well as the UFC, I just think that tennis is unreal. But what I'm getting at is these 1v1 sports are the ones that I think there's something to be said about them, where the level of difficulty to motivate yourself to get out there and to do it consistently, not just one time. Anybody can win one fight. You'll find somebody out there that you can win one fight on. But can you stack them? Can you win multiple? Can you win always? That's the definition to me of a GOAT. Success is a marathon of consistency, and I think that to be successful in those sports, you've got to be consistent at the highest level. Jon Jones, guys. Jon Jones. Legend. Still going at it. Still the GOAT. Let's go, baby.